Welcome back to another Crypto Warehouse live stream special, and this is a good one. It's only been live for half an hour. 30 minutes ago, Solv protocol mining went live on GateIO, and this is one I am genuinely excited about. As you know, on this channel, we value truth and we value our honest opinion above everything else. We've looked at some real clangers, should we say, over the last 12 months. Today, I think, as we've seen quite a lot of towards the end of last year, solid looking projects. And thank you to the comment in chat that said I was looking like I was drowning this morning, where I imagine my camera was like that. So thank you for pointing that out. I'm trying to do it so I don't clip my head off. Okay, so what are we looking at today? We're looking at Solv protocol. We are going to go through everything you can see on the right-hand side. Let me adjust the screen so you can see this a bit better. We are going to talk about the project itself and, again, another $1 million worth of airdrops on GateIO. Okay, this is not the usual GateIO that I remember from last year, where it was $50, $100, $150,000. This is the second $1 million airdrop in 2 weeks, one a week. So we're going to talk about Solv. We're going to talk about the startup, which we've got on your screen now. We're going to go through the white paper, the tokenomics. We're going to talk about the socials. Then we're very quickly going to show you Baby Shark as well. And then we're going to give you my conclusion on this. Now, if you're new here, there is a link on YouTube down below that will take you across to GateIO, where you will be able to sign up for free. If you have a minimum of $10 on the platform, you will be able to take part in this. And you need some GT token or you need some USDC on the platform to get involved. That's all you need to do. If you're watching on GateIO, good afternoon to you all. I have been commenting in the GateIO chat, and I am going to get to the point very soon where we are back on our feet. Let me start the countdown. That is something we need to do because we only have an hour to do this in. I am going to start doing giveaways on the platform again. We were doing giveaways most of last year, had an eye operation in November, still getting back 6, 7, 8 weeks later, still getting back on my feet. We need the funds to come in before they can go back out. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing GateIO giveaways. We will be doing our Wednesday night specials and all of those other things. But before I go off on a tangent, let's very quickly remind you of what we are talking about today. When you log into GateIO for the first time, you have a section called Startup. If you go to the Startup section on GateIO, you will enter a Pandora's box of giveaways. These are not your ordinary giveaways. These are brand new tokens, which you may not have even heard about on X, may not have even heard about in general. And this is basically a launch pool, an airdrop. They have given away just under $124 million they've given away on this platform. And on here, you have 3 sections. One is missing, don't know why, but we have startup mining, startup, and then we have startup tasks. But we're going to look at startup mining today. That's what the stream is about. But very briefly, if you do look at startup, you can subscribe to all of these projects, which are going to go live soon. Duckchain, Midle, TrendX, Vice, Primex, Baby Shark, we're going to look at the end of the show. If you look on the menu on the right-hand side, you will see what I am talking about. Camino Network, Vert, and then there is 1,600 that have gone live. Lily, I got the airdrop. Derive and Legend, I got all of those airdrops today. So the one that we're going to focus on today is in startup mining. So just a reminder, the little flower up there, you click on that when it decides to work for me, and you will see startup. That's the first thing you go to. That takes you to here. Startup mining is what we're interested in, and today we're going to be looking at Solv. Now, we're going to show you how to stake on here. But the first thing we're going to do before we do any of this is we're going to go through the startup introduction. And then we're going to go and have a look at the website of Solv Protocol so you know what it is that you are going to be staking your GT and USDT for. But first of all, let's go through this. So there is an initial offering of $1 million. Okay. Now, this isn't a prize that you win. You're going to get a share of it like everybody else. It will list Solv Protocol for spot trading on the 17th of January, which is the day after tomorrow. You'll be able to stake GT or USDT in the Solv Protocol startup mining section to share 2.7 million Solv for free. With rewards valued at $1 million, don't miss this chance to seize the bonus. There is phase 1 and there is phase 2. Phase 1, you have USDT and you have GT. And then phase 2, which starts on the 17th and runs, is 60,000. And I believe that will happen again. So you'll be able to farm this token for roughly 7 days, okay, starting today. They're the rewards, $1 million. Now, to participate, you get paid every hour. So if you started staking now, you would get pro rata at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 p.m. Very simple, 24 hours. That goes to your unified account, and that will be listed alongside all of your other tokens. Now, the token isn't live yet, so you will not be able to sell it, okay? However, once you have it, it's there. Once the date goes live, you can decide to hold or you can decide to sell. And that's what the purpose of this stream is today. Not just to introduce the stream, but also to decide whether this is a token we want to hold or whether this is a token we want to sell. Now, what I was going to do just before we went live on the stream was I was going to show you how to actually deposit into this platform, into these pools. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to withdraw some money and stick it into this pool so you can see how it works. So if you give me a second. So I have now withdrawn some USDT. You come to the startup mining section and the first one you see is hot, which is Solv. There we go, 2.36 million Solv for 5 days. I click on stake here. Now, I have the ability to put $1,000 in here, which at the end of the 5 days will go back into my simple earn where I have taken it from. I press confirm. And now I am earning on my USDT. Not only that, but if I go to my GT pool, yes, I do actually have some GT in there. If I go in here, I can also stake my GT, which is not a lot because I have GT2, which is being used on lots of other pools. So what we've done now is we've staked $1,000 and we've staked 0.42 GT. Now, something that you need to bear in mind that I don't think enough people explain to you. Your GT and your USDT is safe. It's not gone anywhere. It's not going to be transferred into Solv. It's not going to be sold. It's there. At the end of the 5 days, you will get your $1,000 back and 0.42 GT back. That's it. You get your money back. But for all the time it is staked, I will earn 102% pro rata on USDT, and I will earn 180+% on my GT. So at this moment in time, they are very high returns. But as more and more people come in here and stake, you can see the total staked here for both of them. You will see that APR start to come down. Bear that in mind, okay? This is not a guaranteed APR on either of them. You're likely to see that come down to 20 to 30% on both. Bear that in mind. So that's why we make these streams so soon after they've gone live, because you might get a day or two of these rates and then it comes down. So there's no risk to your funds that are on here. There's no risk to your GT or your USDT. That is safe. At the end of the 5 days, Both of those sets of tokens are going to go back into my Simple Earn program, and the USDT will go back to earning 20 or 30% or whatever it was when I just withdrew it, and GT will go back in there. Remember, every time you get to 1 GT, you can then convert it to GT2 and you can use it across the chain, and you'll earn 11% on your GT token. Now, GT token is something I've been talking about again since probably September or October. At the time, I only had a couple of them, and I was a bit, not worried, I was a bit scared that I was going to miss out. And I think now I've got about 27 or 28 GT, which is nowhere near enough GT that I wanted to get to 100. I never got to it. I obviously had my operation, so missed out on getting there. But now GT token is trading at all-time highs. It's nearly $19. Easily going to go over $20 in the next month or so. Back in October, it was $6, $5, around that figure. So it's already 3x'd in 3 or 4 months. And you can understand why. Because this startup section on GateIO is better than any other launch pool on any other site. There's one that comes close. I obviously can't mention names. There's one that comes close, but there's nothing in the top 3 that comes close to this, okay? A lot of them want you to trade to get access to this. A lot of them want you to swap to get access to this. Not with GateIO. Hold the GT token, hold assets on their platform, and you will be rewarded. It rewards loyalty, and that's the difference for me. I've said this many times. I have 3 favorite platforms, okay? GateIO is one of my 3 favorite platforms. I'm listed, or I have accounts, with about 10 or 12 different exchanges. GateIO is in my top 3. And this mining section and startup section, it sets GateIO apart from everything else. If you think I'm talking fluff, okay, you've come to this channel, you think this is a GateIO sponsored stream. It isn't, okay? I'm talking about one of the 3 best exchanges. It has the best startup section. If you can find a better one, tell me in chat what you think's better than this one, because I don't think there is, and I look around all the time. So that's what you have to do. That's how you take part. I've shown you how to stake. Now, there are 4 days, 23 hours and 17 minutes left. I will earn Solv on my $1,000 for all of that time. I will earn Solv on my GT staked for all of that time. And at the end, my money gets returned to the platform. Now, I don't know how long we've been talking for, but I think I have slightly overrun on the talking. And now what we need to do is we need to get into the meat and bones of what it is we're talking about today. Let me just bring up the chat and make sure I haven't missed anybody's chats. Let me see. Kishan is here. Cyberpunk Danny, Velvet Rope, Hidden Genders. Congratulations and welcome to you all. Let me bring up, make sure we are there. There we go. Okay, so what is Solv? It is Bitcoin staking. Mass adoption is here. Excuse me. Let's scroll down a little bit and make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Staking abstract layer. We have Solv BTC, we have Solv BTC Core, and Solv BTC EMA. And this all connects up very nicely into the SAL, the staking abstraction layer. A unified standard for Bitcoin staking. Excuse me. Oh, went the wrong way. Standardize and enhance interoperability in the Bitcoin staking ecosystem, enabling accessibility for all participants. Unlock diverse LST products and enjoy a seamless Bitcoin staking experience. Now, LST, liquid staking token. So when you have seen, let me think of an example. MSOL or BSOL, they are liquid staking tokens. That means they're liquid, you can trade them, but in the background, they are earning you your 6 or 7% SOL. This, I imagine, will be called something like SBTC, and that is what you will be getting as a synthetic version of your Bitcoin that is staked on this platform. Now, diverse yield sources accessible through SAL. Explore how SAL unlocks various yield streams for your Bitcoin. Re-staking yields trading strategies, validator rewards, and DeFi yields. Now, again, one thing to bear in mind, and this is very important, if you swap your Bitcoin or Solana or Ethereum for a liquid staking token, a synthetic version of your Ethereum or Bitcoin, you no longer hold onto your Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin. They have it in a vault, and you have a liquid version of that. And there is a possibility that that could be hacked. So there is always an inherent risk of that. And there's also an inherent risk of depegging. Depegging is a possibility. Never think it isn't. Now, restaking participates in protocols that enhance proof of stake ecosystems by sharing in Bitcoin's network security. We've talked about that before when we've been talking about Charles Hoskinson has been wanting to provide proof of stake solutions. You stake your ADA, you earn Solana. That's what he's been talking about. This is no different. Validator rewards contribute to the security of networks by running validator nodes and earning native token rewards for your participation. Trading strategies, we don't need to talk about that. We all know all about that. And DeFi yields, leverage liquid staking tokens to access decentralized finance, combining staking and liquidity opportunities to enhance your yield performance. Now, of course, every single thing on that screen comes with a level of risk, whether it be restaking, trading, DeFi. Contracts can be not hacked, that's not the right word, compromised, and you can lose your Bitcoin, you can lose your Ethereum. So again, everything we're talking about, you need to understand the inherent risks associated with it. Otherwise, you end up getting separated from your hard-earned cash. Now then, DeFi yield, maximize yields by participating in DeFi. So we have the Solv BTC, which I imagine is the name of the token, and then we don't need to talk about these. We've got to be quick. We don't have a super long time to go through all of this. Okay, we have a very short period of time in which we can go through this. I am just checking my chats, make sure everybody is on board. Give me 1 second. My chat on GateIO has disappeared. There we go. Making sure I'm back in. There we go. I am back in chat. Hello, everybody. I am here. I actually should drop a box. Let me drop a box for you guys while you wait. Give me 1 second. It takes a little time to do this. I'm just going to drop a box for all of you watching. Come on. There we go. Why is this so slow? There we go. Let's put one of them in. Put one of them in. Right, so drop in this box for you all. We're going to put a countdown on. Otherwise, it's going to make everything blow up. We'll do a 10-minute countdown. There we go. Please enter how many gifts. Oh, right, okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, we've dropped a box. Good luck, everybody. That will be available to claim in 10 minutes. So, if you've got any questions in chat, ask away, and I will answer them as best I can. So, Solv, liquid staking your Bitcoin, take part in DeFi, take part in yield opportunities, trading opportunities. That is what we are doing. These are the 4 tenets of why you should use Solv. Unified liquidity, optimizing yields, simplifying your Bitcoin finance journey, and transparent peace of mind. Exactly. Now, we don't need to go through too much of this, but you will see some familiar names. Blockchain Capital is listed down there. Laser Digital is listed down there. So there's quite a few people backing this. Marana, these are the partners. These are the DeFi applications. These are the chains. So you can see Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB chain. Arbitrum is down there. The yield sources are coming from Babylon, Athena, GMX, and what's that say? Karak. And DeFi applications, these are the ones that are going to be listed in there. Lister DAO is in there. We've covered them on this channel before. Swell is listed on there as well. We talked about them. PancakeSwap. Service providers, again, Chainlink is a big one on there. No, that's misspelt. That should say Chainlink, and it says Chilink. Anyway, some spelling mistakes on the platform. You always get them. Fully audited, full panel and suite of audits. So again, that's a brief introduction to what they are. It's not meant to take the rest of the stream. What we're going to do now, however, is we're going to go and have a look at the white paper. Okay, so first of all, when you look at a project, if it doesn't have a white paper, walk away. Okay, white papers are there for a very good reason, and that is to tell you what the project is trying to do, what's going on in the project. Okay, if it doesn't have a white paper, walk away. That's my very simple advice. Let me make this big enough now for you guys to be able to see. So we're not going to go through everything, but we'll just read some bits. So Solv protocol, let's make sure my camera has me on set. Solv protocol is the on-chain Bitcoin reserve aiming to unlock the full potential of over 1 trillion in Bitcoin assets. Through our staking abstraction layer, they've called that SAL, Solv BTC and Solv BTC LSTs, liquid staking tokens, enable retail and institutional investors to capture diverse yield opportunities without sacrificing liquidity by seamlessly integrating Bitcoin into DeFi ecosystems. You can't say fairer than that. Let's make sure this camera is perfect. Fine. So we've been through the audits, we've been through the partners, we don't need to look at that anymore. Now, the state of Bitcoin staking, that is the key, okay? You can't earn natively from Bitcoin. Why? Very simply put, Bitcoin is proof of work. It is not proof of stake, it is proof of work, okay? So anything you do with Bitcoin is going to be impossible to earn yield from, okay? And the reason is, proof of work rewards the miners. Proof of stake rewards the validators, the nodes, all of those good things, okay? So there's no native yield. There is fragmented Bitcoin liquidity. I do agree with that. There are many different versions of Bitcoin knocking around. There's wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain. Solana has its own version of Bitcoin as well. There's a few knocking around, but not a great deal. A few integrations with core DeFi primitives. Totally agree with that. Now, it is Bitcoin season. It's also the bull run. And with that, you have lots of money swishing around. You, of course, have the ETFs, the Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETFs. So you have the money there. You have the Bitcoin. You have the interest. You have the bull run. One thing you can't do with your Bitcoin is make any money out of it. And that is a massive issue. Because if Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, how do you tap into the liquidity of Bitcoin? How do you draw down the value of your Bitcoin without selling your Bitcoin? That's what Michael Saylor talks about all the time. He talks about never selling your Bitcoin, but he never says that you can't use it as as collateral. Okay, he does actually talk about in some of his videos about how you can, let's say Bitcoin gets to $500,000. He says you can borrow $25,000 a year against that Bitcoin, and the value of Bitcoin will outstrip the interest and the loan over a period of 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So he talks about stacking your Bitcoin and using it as collateral to get loans, okay? So he never says that you can't go and earn from Bitcoin. He just says that you shouldn't sell it because it's an inflation hedge and all of those things. Now, there is growing interest in Bitcoin native DeFi, BRC20s, ordinals, rules, OPCAT, etc. I have been talking an awful lot about Cardano. Charles Hoskinson will be going to a Bitcoin conference this very year and showing all the Bitcoin maxes how you can use the Cardano blockchain to process Bitcoin transactions, technically making Cardano a side chain, a layer 2 of Bitcoin, however you want to say it, however it wants to be described. So the yield is coming. And believe you me, if there was a low risk way of earning yield on my Bitcoin, that's what I'm interested in. I am not interested in making 15% on my Bitcoin. I'm interested in a return of 3 or 4%. But just holding Bitcoin gets you 60, 70%, 30% a year anyway. So I'm just being greedy, but why not? So Solv Protocol's Bitcoin holdings is ranked 5th amongst chains. There you go. And you've got Ethereum, Tron, BNB, that's impossible to read, 20,000 Bitcoin held by Solv. The protocol's Bitcoin holding is ranked 7th amongst Bitcoin ETFs. So this is a serious player. They have 20,000 Bitcoin on their books. It's a serious amount of Bitcoin. So Solv BTC prioritizes security through a fully transparent proof of reserve system. This framework enables users to verify in real time that every Solv BTC token is backed one-to-one by either Bitcoin or a trusted wrapped Bitcoin asset, such as WBTC. So that is where we stand today with our Bitcoin. Is there anything on Gary Network? I can't talk about it on the stream. This stream is about Solv Protocol. I'm doing an hour on Solv Protocol, so I'm not looking at markets, I'm not looking at charts or anything like that. I am keeping an eye on chat, however, so I am keeping an eye on the GateIO chat to see who is asking questions. People dropping their user IDs as always. But if you've got any questions about this, you ask them in chat. And GateIO users, follow me, follow us. We stream about 5 or 6 times a week on GateIO. And of course, we dual stream on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, come to GateIO, sign up, it's free. Come and get involved with this startup mining allocation. $1 million worth of Solv Protocol tokens to be claimed over the next 5 to 7 days. You have no reason not to set up a GateIO account. And if you're watching this, on playback on YouTube, the link to GateIO is under this video. So click on that link, come to GateIO, sign up. It's completely free, doesn't cost you anything. $10 of assets opens the doors to you being able to take part. And if you want some non-financial advice, go and buy yourself some GT token, because then you can start to really mine these new tokens. So the on-chain micro strategy is how they call themselves. And this is a comparison of how they compare themselves with MicroStrategy's Bitcoin reserves. As you can see, MicroStrategy has 400,000 and it's gone parabolic towards the end there. And you'll also see on the left the Solv Bitcoin reserve. I mean, that's a substantial number of Bitcoin. 20,000 Bitcoin is a huge amount for it to actually have on the platform. Arif, hello. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the love hearts. The box is going to drop anytime now. Feel free to claim. And don't forget to follow us on GateIO. So that is a very simple comparison. We don't need to go through all of these in any depth. Let's make sure I don't run out of time, which is very likely. Right, 33 minutes left. These streams go so quickly when you have so much to get through. Right then, we're going to talk about the tokenomics next. This is important. Okay, so the max total supply of Solv is 9.66 billion. Okay, that is the max supply. It may increase via network governance for Bitcoin reserve offerings. The total Genesis supply is 8.4 billion. Circulating supply upon listings will be X, Y, or Z. Token distribution is down here. This is what it is. This is what's important. Right, let's open this in an image, in a larger image, so we can actually read it. Okay, God, now it's right. Okay, so we have Mega Drop, Community Airdrop, Team and Advisors, Community Rewards and DAO, Treasury, Community Rewards and External Partners, Business Development. Okay, I can't read that. That just makes no sense whatsoever, does it? Why haven't they put the numbers on? How are you supposed to tell what's what? It's absolutely ridiculous, that chart. Where are the percentages? How am I supposed to put my finger in the air and guess what's what? Right, here we go. Let's go back to up here. So you've got the community drop 8.5%, team and advisors 13, community rewards 18. Just give me 1 second. Give me 1 minute. One sec. I will be back in 1 short second. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I am back. A delivery has just arrived. So my family have run to the gate to open it. So very sorry about that. Let's get back into it. So the breakdown is as follows. What's important to look at here is what is the company getting and what is being released to the public. That is what is important on here, okay? Now, why is that important? Very simply put, let's just double check this. Is that, there we go. What's important is that if you've got 60 or 70% of the tokens coming to the team and the advisors, it doesn't leave a lot in the ecosystem, and it means that they can just dump their tokens on you. So what you want to see is a balance. You want to see maybe 30% of the tokens going to the team and the VCs, and the rest going to the treasury and going to the public, which is you and I. So team and advisors, 13%, plus for 17%, 43%. So 43% is going to the team and the advisors. Okay, that's quite a hefty chunk, but we don't quite know whether some of these participants are Bitcoin stakeholders. Maybe that's the case. But the distribution is okay. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. And this is the pre-sale release, or sorry, this is the release schedule going from where we are now to January 2029. So that's 4 years. So it'll take 4 years for all of the tokens to be unlocked. Again, not a real problem for me, not an issue. That pretty much standard. So Solv preliminary plans 3 bros Bitcoin reserve offerings, each minting 42 million Solv tokens exclusively for convertible note sales. Fine. Future Bitcoin reserve offerings will be under DAO governance. Again, fine. Token utility governance, staking, and fee discount. So, of course, if you get the Solv token from this, you will be able to go and stake it if you wish, or keep it on GateIO, entirely up to you. And then token information is there. We don't need to go look at that. But again, it's an average set of tokenomics. It's not the best, and it's not the worst, and it probably needs to be the way it is to actually cope with the previous investors. So don't imagine this is a cheap thing to build. So starting on the 17th, Solv users can check out and claim their token on this website. Only claims of 0.01 Solv or higher will be eligible. And then it's got a breakdown again. We don't need to go through that in too much depth. Again, I've got to keep my eye on the time. So we don't need to go through that. Governance is important because, of course, DAOs are the bread and butter now of projects like this, and moving across to the DAO is something that you need to do. If you are a project looking to move into the future, you want to have your stakeholders having a vested interest in it. So Jupiter has one of the best DAOs I have seen. There are several other DeFi platforms with DAOs that are very good. Of course, the likes of Luna and Cardano, they've got their own DAOs as well. So governance is important for having all of your stakeholders to buy in. Those stakeholders are you and I, the coin holders, the validators if it's proof of stake, the miners if it's proof of work. They all need to get involved and point the project in the direction that it wants to go. So again, I'm totally on top of that. Right, Solv BTC. So this is wrapped Bitcoin, okay? WBTC is probably the biggest one that you've heard of. That's on the Ethereum blockchains and all of the layer 2s associated. But remember, as it says here, not all wrapped Bitcoins are the same. WBTC is the biggest one. Then you have others down here, which, yeah, I'm not going to mention some of these names. The issue really is that if you've got wrapped Bitcoins and they are low market caps, 10 million here, 20 million here, it causes a problem because the redemptions are not too great. So what you need to be able to do is have a large one like wrapped Bitcoin, which has maybe a large market cap, a large number of Bitcoin involved. That's what you really need on this. So yeah, I do tend to agree that that is the problem. Then you have the liquid staking tokens. These are pegged, which is 1-to-1, and yield bearing. So pegged means one Bitcoin is one wrapped Bitcoin. Yield bearing means that you would, for example, have one Bitcoin and swap it into one Solv Bitcoin. And at the end of the first year, if it's got a 3% yield, your one Bitcoin will be worth 1.03 Solv Bitcoin. That's what it means. And you see this an awful lot on Solana. You see a lot of Solana liquid staking tokens that pay 6 or 7%, and they don't depeg, they appreciate in value. So one Sol is always one Sol. But now we see Jupiter, Solanas, and others which have a value of maybe 1.1 JSOL versus Sol. So they appreciate in value over time. So again, the reason that you want to have a large cap wrapped Bitcoin is liquidity, number one, and number two, what comes with the liquidity, which is products. So accessing the DeFi products, accessing liquidity pools, whatever it might be. If you've got $10 million worth of wrapped tokens, you're not really going to make an awful lot out of it. Whereas if you've got $200 or $300 million worth of Bitcoin, then you will make a lot out of it because products and services will be offered to tap into that liquidity. It's very simple. If you've got no liquidity, no one's going to offer you liquidity pools. No one's going to offer you staking rewards. So that's why it's important that you have larger, liquid staking tokens. So one big thing here is, of course, that Chainlink is part of this. CCIP is their interoperability protocol, and it allows you to move Solv BTC across chains. I cannot understate how important that is, because if they're using CCIP, it means you can have Solv Bitcoin not anywhere, but in a lot of places. DeFi protocol access, LST holders can participate exactly. So if you've got Solv BTC on Avalanche, on Cardano, on Ethereum, on Solana, and there's products offer there, you can stake your Solv BTC and earn a reward there. It's great. So again, I am 100% behind this project, okay? This is not a Mickey Mouse meme coin. This is a blue chip project. And I said at the very start of the stream, I was excited to look at this because I knew what the options were. Okay? Let's have a look. So we've done all this. We've read through all of this. We don't really need to go through all of this. Solv Guardian. Solv Guardian is an intermediary layer that sits between underlying assets and users' assets, adding an extra layer. There's a mechanism breakdown here, which we don't need to go through. Just suffice to say, they've got several audits done. They have a DAO overseeing the project, and they have security in place, as you would expect. I have been closely monitoring Zeus, ZBTC, I think it's called, over on Solana. That's also something very similar to this, but nowhere near on the scale. I think they're talking about 50 Bitcoin. This is talking about 20,000 Bitcoin. They are not the same. So again, Solv Protocol is a serious project with a serious solution that is going to allow you to generate an income on your Bitcoin. Okay? That is what is so important about it. Now then, let us check how we are doing for time. 20 minutes, perfect. So we've seen the tokenomics. We've seen the white paper. We've gone through the startup. We also have to go through, is it Baby Shark? Have I got to mention and talk about Baby Shark very quickly as well? Yes, I do. Right, so we're going to look at the socials very quickly of, here we go, of Solv Protocol. And again, we talk a lot on here about doing your own research, and that sounds very difficult, sounds very complicated, it sounds like a pain in the backside. No, it's not. It's the minimum you can do for getting involved in life-changing wealth. The number one thing you can do to do your own research is go to X and press that button there and follow Solv Protocol. And if you want to, turn your notification bell on, okay? It's as simple as that. Why is that important? Because the white paper, the tokenomics, the information listed on GateIO, it is all out of date as soon as it is written. That's why you have to follow their socials. You can scroll down here and you can see their pinned comments. You can see the information about, this is 4 hours ago, okay? This talks in great depth about what they are trying to do. It talks in great depth about the point of Solv Protocol. Go down here, we will see that there are 3 days to go. 3 days. Go down here, you will see Pancake Swap being talked about. You see AMAs being talked about. You see Berra being talked about. You can see information about deposits on platforms. There is another AMA. Again, 3,000 people listened in. It was just under an hour. There's no reason for you to turn around and say, oh, I don't know anything about it. I don't know what's going on. What has all been? Just go and spend an hour looking at their socials, listening into the AMA, which we're not going to do, but listening into the AMA, it gives you a feeling for the culture of the company. If you tune into an AMA and you've got some hippie talking about peace and flowers and all of those kind of good things, right? Is that a serious person to have representing your company? No. If you tune in and they're talking about layers, abstraction, yield generation, yield bearing, DeFi protocols, they're the kind of people you want to listen to. Go and follow them on X. I think it's just at Solv Protocol. That's it. Go and follow them. While you're there, by the way, something else you need to follow that I've not mentioned on here in the past is this one. Okay. This one here, okay? Go and follow this one while you're here. GateIO Startup, right? Look, I'm following them. Why aren't you? You go down here, talks about everything to do with all of the startup sections on the site, tells you how much you can win. Duck Chain talks about the coins. They do giveaways every single week on X. So go and follow GateIO startup or Gate startup, and then go and follow. As it disappeared off the screen now. There we go. And go and follow these guys. It's easy. It's easy. Right, now, before we go and have a look at Baby Shark, what I think we should do for all the people that joined late. Where were you? Why were you not tuned in at the start of the stream? Where did you go? Don't turn up here halfway through the stream and ask me what I'm talking about. You should have been here at the start. You have no excuses for not being here. And why do we only have 825 views on this stream? We should have 2,000 minimum. Okay, go and tell everybody about this stream. Now then, very briefly then, from the top, GateIO, you go to the flower. It might not be a flower, I don't care. I'm calling it a flower. Go to the flower, you have startup. You go to startup. It's simple. If you're new to GateIO, welcome. Streamers are not as crazy as I am, okay? Token launch and airdrop. They've given away $124 million on this platform. Duckcoin, GPS, Chirp, Midle, or Middle, all about to launch. What we care about for this stream today is startup mining. Why? Because we are talking about Solv. What I did at the start of the stream was I showed you how to stake. You press the stake button, you will see that I have got $1,000 staked. Okay, should I stake another 50, I would do that, and then I would press that. But I'm not. I've already got $1,000 staked. So $1,000 in there, earning me 102%. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get 102% of $1,000 for staking for 5 days. It's pro rata. So you'll get 1/70th of that, which is still 1.5%. So I'm going to earn $15 worth of Solv in 5 days for using this. And then on Stake GT, I don't have a lot of GT in my unified account. It's all GT2 going off and doing other things. So I've only got half a GT, which I've put in there. As you can see, that's earning me 184%. That's all you've got to do. So once more, for the people at the back, you go there, you go to startup. You go from that startup area. First of all, you go, hang on a second. First of all, you go, ooh, 123 million, that's a lot. Then you go to startup mining, and that's where you find the project I am talking about here, because that's what we care about. We care about Solv. So I've got my stuff staked there. I'm leaving it there. I am not going to touch it now for another 4 days, 22 hours and 41 minutes. And a very gentle reminder, you don't lose your GT and you don't lose your USDT for staking it here. At the end of the 5 days, you will get your $1,000 back and your 0.42 GT back, and it will go into your simple earn account. That is it. Okay? You don't lose anything. This is a zero risk part of GateIO. Obviously, if you go on leverage and you go on 50x short Bitcoin and it goes up, you get liquidated. No, this is very simple. You stake, you earn, you get your money back. Stake, you earn, you get your money back. Or should I say you stake, you mine, you get your money back. That's all you have to do. This is easy, okay? There's been 133 of them finish. There's 5 in the pipeline. There's 9 of them live, okay? There are others on here apart from Solv. There is Pin, which I don't know which one I'm earning on. I'm earning on one of them at the minute anyway. There's a few of them I'm earning on. But that's all you got to do. That is all you've got to do. Now that I've run through that, I have a conclusion and I have Baby Shark to go through. Baby Shark we're going to have a look at in a second. Remember this. Every single week, without fail, GateIO put projects into startup mining and projects into startup. Okay, that's it. All you have to do is have $10 on the platform. Or, if you were me, I would go and get yourself some G2 token. Okay, if you can't afford a lot, go and buy yourself 2 or 3 G2 tokens to take part. Okay, it's $50. It's not going to break the bank. If a lot of you out there don't have $50, fine, enter the giveaways and try and win yourself some tokens, or go and take part in the startup tasks. Now then, down here you have the live startups. We've got Duckcoin. I've already subscribed. This goes live in 39 minutes time. I'll be taking part in that. That goes live in a couple of days. The one we're interested in today is Baby Shark. I have subscribed. So let's very quickly go and have a look at Baby Shark. My tea's gone cold. Interesting fact. The Irish drink more tea than the English, which I can't believe. I think that's wrong. There's only about 50 Irish people and there's 65 million English people, so I think there's something wrong there. Now then, Baby Shark is going live in 23 hours and 38 minutes. So 24 hours from now, Baby Shark goes live. I've got 25 or 26 GT token. So I get 2 shares because you get 1 share. This is a GT holder exclusive. I get 1 share for every 10 tokens that I hold. So I hold 26. When I get to 30, which will be soon, I will get 3 shares. As you can see, 65,200 people have taken part. Many of them will have more than that. I am VIP 4. I was VIP 5 before the market correction. Curse you, Bitcoin. Baby Shark is down here. Should we have a very quick look at the Baby Shark website while we're doing this? Is there a Baby Shark website that we can see? We'll find it. Right then, so Baby Shark is a global phenomenon. With over 15 billion views and 1 billion fans, it's now making waves in the Web3 world, built on the immense popularity across platforms. Oh no, I know what it is. It's that song, Baby Shark. Crikey almighty. I hate that song with a passion. However, that doesn't mean I don't like the token. Just don't like the do nonsense. So it's got a user-friendly experience. Right then, so the founder is called Hun. I thought the founder might be called something a bit more fishy than that, like Finn, Baby Shark Finn. Never mind. The project is led by Hun, a passionate advocate for digital transformation with a background in education and tech. As the founder and CEO, they are committed to bridging the gap between entertainment and blockchain, making Web3 accessible and enjoyable for a global audience. Under the leadership, the team blends creativity and technical experience to deliver an unforgettable experience. Can't say further than that. Now, one thing on the left-hand side that I always like to tell you about, and I know it's boring, I know you don't care, but you should do, and that is the risk warning. Everybody needs to read the risk warning. If you don't, what are you doing? The project is still in its startup. There are potential problems with it. You need to understand how crypto works, how the markets work, to take part in these projects. Do not buy every token that comes out and expect it to 1000x. That's not how it works. The volatility of the market is high. This token could go up 5,000% and then fall 99.9% the following day. Be careful of that. And you might not be able to get the funds out if there's a problem with a blockchain, if there is a problem with GateIO's app, if there is a problem with the token itself. All of those could stop you from getting access to this token. So you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. But if you hold 10 GT, you get 1 share. If you don't, you can enter the lucky draw and you might win some. That is all you need to know about Baby Shark. But what I would like to do is very quickly, before I give you my conclusion, should we see if we can find Baby Shark? Let's go and have a little look at Baby Shark, shall we? I was only told to talk about this briefly, which is why I've stuck it at the end. The most important thing to understand today is that, and I'm going to get onto my conclusion, is Solv Finance is the real business. Let's have a look at Baby Shark. I mean, it could be any of these, couldn't it? Really? Do we know which one it is? I can't find it. Okay. Baby Shark is there. Go and take part. Why doesn't it have a link to the website so we can go and check it out? I'm going to speak to GateIO about that and see if we can get a way of adding a link to the project itself so you can go and do your own research, because down here it's great, you can see the vision, the tokenomics, but we don't really see enough about it at the end of the day, which is a shame. And it's a Baby Shark meme. Right then, so let's go back and give you my conclusion, because I've got an hour to do this. I promised myself I wouldn't overrun like I normally do, but I think it is only fair that with the last 5 minutes I give you my my conclusion. Let's make sure everything is on here. Close that down. Right then, let me bring that up a little bit so you can see what we're talking about. Let's make sure that looks good on the screen. There we go. Okay, so Solv protocol. I've got 5 minutes left to talk about it, which is plenty of time. Listen very carefully. There are very few projects that come along which I consider to be blue chip. And if you've been on some of these streams before, you're going to have heard this speech before. But there's been very few. And I think I've said in the past there's been 3 or 4 really good projects on GateIO that I would consider holding out of maybe 20 or 30 that we've reviewed. Well, this would be the 5th one. Now, we've reviewed Athena before on here. We've reviewed Lister, DAO on here before. Really, really solid projects. Grown-up projects is what I would call them. Solv is a grown-up project, okay? You need to put your big boy pants on and you need to understand what the potential of Solv protocol is. They have 20,000 Bitcoin already, okay? 20,000. The project hasn't been going that long. It's been going maybe a year, year and a half. It's been live less than a year. It's launching a token. Bitcoin is going to always be the biggest asset in the world. Ethereum is never going to overtake it. XRP is never going to overtake it. Solana is never going to overtake it. Bitcoin is always going to be the alpha male in the room. Now, if you can tap into Bitcoin and create a yield out of it, then you have found the treasure at the end of the rainbow. Solv has 20,000 Bitcoin already, and it hasn't even started. Now, in the bull run, which will last until the end of this year, you should be looking to sell all of your assets to fiat, apart from maybe Bitcoin. If you hold Bitcoin for the next 2 years worth of the bear market, you want to earn a yield on it potentially. And that is where the likes of Solv protocol come in, okay? And when I say the likes of, there aren't many competitors to it, because if you can crack the Bitcoin enigma, if you can crack the conundrum of having a yield on Bitcoin, then you don't have the golden egg that the goose laid, you've got the goose. And Solv could very well have found a way and a size that gives them the critical mass to be able to give you a token and a platform to earn yield on your Bitcoin. Now, having said all of that, everything is, of course, always going to be open to risk. Everything is always going to have an inherent risk. If you swap your Bitcoin for Solv BTC, you no longer hold your Bitcoin. It's no longer yours. You have a synthetic version. There's always inherent risk in having a synthetic version of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, whatever. Always an inherent risk. So that's the risk, that it depegs and you don't get your Bitcoin back. That's the risk. And you have to be fully aware of that risk. You then have to weigh up, is that risk of losing my Bitcoin? What's the chances of that happening? And then balance that off against the rewards that you are getting from Solv protocol. Is a 3 or 4% yield on your Bitcoin worth the risk of a depeg or not necessarily a hack, but a vulnerability being found? That's what you have to decide. I can't tell you that. My opinion is this: I will hold the tokens because the tokens will give me access to their success. I will not put my Bitcoin into Solv or Zeus for a while, maybe 6 to 12 months, until it starts to flesh itself out. This is still in its infancy, okay? So do I think that Solv is a 9 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10? It's a 9 out of 10. It's a grown-up, big boy pants wearing solution to a problem that's been around for 14 years. And that problem is this: Bitcoin doesn't make any money. It appreciates in value over time. Like gold in some respects, it's digital gold, you could call it. So for that reason, I think holding the token is a no-brainer. I think using Solv in the future, or even having a Solv solution integrated into GateIO, that would be another thing I would look at. If there was a way of generating yield on your Bitcoin through GateIO and Solv, that would be another solution. But for now, hold the Solv tokens and farm them. They're free. If you've got dollars or GT token on GateIO, press these stake buttons now and go and get these tokens for free. There is no risk whatsoever. If you farm these tokens for the next 5 days and you end up with 20 or 30 of these tokens and they go to zero, you've lost nothing but your time. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. It's a no-brainer to hold the token. It's a no-brainer to go and do some research on Solv protocol. And it's a no-brainer. This is going to be a solution that's going to be around, hopefully, for a very long time. Anyway, I have run out of time, which I always do. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the 1,000 people that have watched this stream. I appreciate every single one of you. But I did promise I'd do this in an hour, and I have. So until tomorrow, you guys, as always, have been great. I have been Mike. Until the next review video, take care.